Looks like we're going to have some possible relief in some areas that may affect you with rising home values. They're talking about dropping some property taxes in a few states, such as Colorado and Georgia, and it says so far that Alabama, Wyoming, and Kansas have enacted new laws that will limit future property taxes. And I know that it says somewhere in here that because of the surge in prices on homes, they say that it's surged up to 54% in some areas. They're capping some property taxes. Now, the main reason I'm giving you this information is because even though some states have had it for a while, there's some that are trying to override it and raise them in some places, like Georgia, I believe, that had a freeze for several decades. But here are the states it shows, and some of them are ballot initiatives. I think Missouri, it says Missouri on November it will appear on their ballot as a primary election initiative August 6th. So if you're in Missouri, you might want to look for that. And otherwise, it's going to appear on the November 5th ballots. And so you need to be looking for those and make sure that you're voting however you want. If you want higher taxes, and vote against it, or vote. I'm not sure how it's going to be worded, if it's going to be worded in such a way. I know a lot of these things get worded where it looks like you're voting to keep your taxes down, and you find out later that you said yes to something that's going to raise them. So be very careful that you know what's going on those. It's like Missouri and Georgia and Louisiana, Kansas. Yeah, let's see if I can tap it. Wyoming, that's it. Yeah, Wyoming House bill puts a 4% cap on year-to-year property tax increases on residential structures and land, while Senate File 89 doubles the veterans tax exemption from $3,000 to $6,000 of assessed value. And then Colorado's ballot measure would limit property tax revenue to 4% growth above the total statewide property tax revenue collected in the previous year, and require statewide voter approval to retain revenue above the cap. Let's see what Kansas is. Law reduces property taxes by increasing the residential property tax exemption to $75,000, saving residential property owners more than $236 million over 5 years. Missouri's Amendment 1 ballot measure would exempt child care facilities from property taxation. Alabama new law caps increases in assessed values on residential and commercial property to 7% of the assessed value from the prior year. Georgia ballot measure would limit the increase in a home's assessed tax valuation to the rate of inflation each year unless a city or county government or local school board publicly opts out. So you have to watch for that. New Mexico disabled veteran property tax exemption amendment. And there's a couple of ballot measures that will increase the property tax exemption for veterans and adjust the property tax exemptions for disabled veterans. Arizona ballot measure would allow for property owners to apply for a property tax refund in certain circumstances, including in instances if the city or locality in which the property is located does not enforce public nuisance laws. So if you're living in an area and they're not enforcing their public nuisance laws and your property values are going down, I guess they're going to give you some relief there. So that's what we got. Let's see, it's Colorado. They're looking at that revenue cap. Ballot measure would limit property tax revenue to 4% growth above the total statewide property tax revenue collected in the previous year and require statewide voter approval to retain revenue above the cap. Hope you find this information useful. If you do, please follow and like and share, and I'll try to find more useful information that could be helpful. Have a good one.